The Chinese Communist Party like to put red lines. And you know what they mean is red line is a line that you are not supposed to cross. So in international politics, they have given 4 red lines for governments in the whole world that they are not allowed to cross. So what are these 4 red lines? The question of Hong Kong, the issue of Xinjiang, the issue of Taiwan, and the issue of South China Sea. So, and for me, this is great because then CCP help us to talk about the most interesting thing. These are the, really the interesting topics. So I'm going to go through all these red line one after another. So today, red line is the number 1 red line, the issue of Hong Kong. Hi, everybody. Recently, it happened for the first time. Legislators in Hong Kong, the Hong Kong Parliament, you can say, some legislator, they are known as a kind of pro-CCP legislator. They pick up a motion and suggesting that the Hong Kong government should ban Falun Gong. Falun Gong, meditation movement that, so to say, came to life in mainland China, 1992, and it developed very quickly and became extremely popular. 100 million people in China practiced that Falun Gong until 1999, 7 years later. Then it was banned in China, and then they were persecuted brutally. With torture, with labor camp, and also reportedly very serious anti-humanity crime, namely organ harvesting. They kill the people for their organs and make big profit of that. But you see, this is 1999. But in Hong Kong, Falun Gong was free to practice and to exercise. So that really, the issue of Falun Gong is a very clear criteria about one country, 2 systems. Since 1997, Hong Kong became, so to say, officially part of the Chinese territory, returned from Great Britain. But you see, although it is the same country, so to say, but Falun Gong totally free in Hong Kong, and Falun Gong in China banned and persecuted. So that was really a contrast. But that also is a sign to confirm that there is one country, 2 systems. Now, recently, this pro-CCP legislator suggested to ban it. So another sign is there are forces, from the CCP side, who want to kill this one country, 2 systems. Actually, in reality, in Hong Kong today, it is no longer one country, 2 system, and it is not exactly one country, 1 system. Today, maybe one country, 1.5 systems. So they are cutting more and more. That the 2 systems become 1.5. Now, someone is trying to push it to 1 country, 1 system. But interesting is, they have a hearing in the Hong Kong Parliament and Legislative Office, and the hearing was that the boss for Hong Kong security should answer a question about Falun Gong, and his answer is very interesting. He really, actually, did not say yes, I agree. No, he just said, some very general formulation like, we will investigate into the matter, and if Falun Gong has made anything illegal, then we will take, of course, corresponding measures, as a legal system should do. Things like that, it's quite diplomatically answered. So, to understand Hong Kong, we have to look always into 2 issues. then we know what is really going on in Hong Kong. One is the power issue. The other one is the money issue. Because CCP, what they have in mind, Chinese Communist Party, is these two things, power and money. Sometimes it goes together. With more money, you can get more power. With more power, you can get more money, right? So, in the same time, the thing is more complicated because the Chinese Communist Party is not really, as the propaganda tried to claim, really a united entity. No. There are different gang, different fraction, or what you call it, yeah, who are actually fighting also against each other. Now, why I say you should look into the power issue and the money issue, because by then you understand why China has been treating Hong Kong differently. Actually, if we start from 1949, when the Communist Party took power in China, China never threatened Great Britain by saying, hey, I want to have Hong Kong back. Yeah? Why? Well, you see, the power balance at that time is different from today. Yeah? It's now 72 years ago. At that time, China was, although they have won the civil war and controlled the mainland, yeah, but militarily and economically, they were not so strong. They could not even dare to think about invading Taiwan because at that time, America said, you stop. Huh? This is enough is enough. You don't cross the Taiwan Strait. And in the case of Hong Kong, at that time, Great Britain was stronger than today, and also the solidarity between Great Britain and America was also stronger, actually, at that time. So with a much stronger Great Britain and a much stronger support from US, so they didn't want to challenge that. But there's another reason why they didn't push away the British, because, although you can say, because the treaties say that it ends first 1997, but you know that the communists, they never actually honor any treaty, any agreement that they signed. If they won't, they just ignore it. They find another reason, not like they have done in Hong Kong. Yeah, their promise about one country, two system. So at that time, they have also another consideration, and that is, you should understand that in the 50, 60, and 70, basically, so the American policy at that time is to treat China as a second enemy. Number one is Soviet Union. Number two was China, which is very logical. Both are very communistic and tyranny. Yeah, and so at that time, China was actually pretty contained. China have huge difficulty to make trade with different countries. Forget about membership in WTO and all this. No chance, because America at that time has seen China as a dangerous potential power. So, stop them expanding in their influence in the world. So Hong Kong became extremely important. You see, China had, in the 50s, 60s, they had big difficulty to get hard currency, foreign currency, yeah, like American dollars. So, because there was a lot of, you can say, trade obstacles. But in Hong Kong, it's no problem. They could easily export to Hong Kong. There was also a kind of secret deal between Great Britain and People's Republic or the CCP. And that is, CCP basically agree with the British that if you let me do this and this and this, for example, we can trade freely, establishing propaganda media in Hong Kong freely, and so on, then I will not touch Hong Kong. I will leave you in peace, okay? And for some reason, the British agree on that. So that's why Hong Kong could stay in peace, no big trouble made by CCP. But in the same time, CCP could operate very freely. All their propaganda, all their spies everywhere, and they can invest in Hong Kong freely. They establish a lot of big company in Hong Kong, and so on and so on. So they were, in a way, you can say, they were allowed freely to infiltrate Hong Kong. So this is interesting, yeah? And so Hong Kong was continued like that for a long, long time, until 1997, when Hong Kong returned to the sovereignty returned to China. It was still pretty free, 97 until today. And what happened is, it's so free that now in the 90s and then after the 90s, China became rich, which means a lot of party bosses and their second generation. In Chinese, they call it Hong Dai, Guan Dai, meaning second generation of the rats. Rats mean the rats are communists, or second generation of the bosses, the party bosses. They all became, many of them become very rich, the new capitalists, the new billionaire, and they find Hong Kong as a paradise because they don't trust their own mainland. In China, inside mainland, you can only keep your money in renminbi, Chinese currency. And Chinese currency can overnight mean worth nothing. So they don't want to do that. They want to keep their money in dollar, American dollar. So where to keep it? Not in China, it's not possible. But in Hong Kong, they feel safe. So now it's interesting. There are a lot of billionaires who actually are quite friendly with the previous gang of CCP, and that is symbolized by Jiang Zemin. Jiang Zemin is the party boss who actually started the persecution of Falun Gong. And these people, they like Jiang Zemin, and many of them are in Hong Kong. So actually, these people, they are not so happy that what is going on in Hong Kong when Xi Jinping, introduced national security law and, extradition law and all this, and making Hong Kong more and more controlled by CCP. And for this red billionaire, it's no good for them. So actually, they don't like it. So it's very complicated. So there are, within the CCP forces in Hong Kong, they are having different interests. Xi Jinping, for him, I think, his first target is not really to ban Falun Gong, not yet. Right now, his priority actually is to control this billionaire, and particularly to take the money from the billionaire who are keeping their money in Hong Kong. And because China needs hard currency, they can print a lot of renminbi, but American dollar they cannot print by themselves, not yet. And the Chinese state's currency reserve has been decreasing tremendously in the last 2 years. They used to have 3 trillions. Now only one, I think, 1 trillion. So it's decreasing rapidly. So Hong Kong become very important for also Xi Jinping. So Xi Jinping one of his reasons to strengthen his control over Hong Kong is to get the hard currency money from Hong Kong. Hong Kong has a lot of money. So, and that also ignites a struggle between Xi Jinping people and Jiang Zemin people. So this is why in the hearing about Falun Gong, the security boss in Hong Kong did not give a clear answer. I think because for Xi Jinping right now is to get those money, to catch those billionaires who belong to his opponent. And he needs all the money. Falun Gong could be the next step, not yet. But there are some other forces suggesting Falun Gong, in his eye, is a kind of disturbance, a kind of sabotage. So that's why he say his people in Hong Kong did not give a clear answer. But Of course, in the long run, for the power, Falun Gong has been a kind of thorn in their eye. And so they cannot tolerate that in the long run. But I'm just saying that Hong Kong is very complicated. So right now, Xi Jinping's priority is to catch those money, to have control over Hong Kong, the Hong Kong finance, the Hong Kong politics, and not yet Falun Gong. That's for him is not the first priority in Hong Kong. Yeah. So, and this is why the hearing end up with actually no clear answer. But in the long run, maybe in the next phase, that come up to priority. So today, I just want to explain so much. Anyway, Hong Kong is a very complex. But in Hong Kong, you can see a lot of things going on in Beijing also. So, so don't forget to click like and subscribe, check your subscription, always check your subscription. And of course, we are happy if you can support us through Patreon or PayPal. Thank you for this time. See you next time.